Lisa here. What's Crafting Wednesday on Thursday? I don't know what happened last night, but I did a whole Facebook Live, and when I finished, I found out I wasn't live and there was no video. So I hope I'm live tonight. Let me just pop up here. Looks like it's okay. All right. We're going to jump right in first and do the drawing for last week's cards. So I have my tickets here with my names. Let me put them in. And mix them up. Grab one here. Oh, I actually have, believe it or not, is Wendy again. 4th week in a row. Oh my goodness, Wendy. Are you lucky? Okay, so let's get on to, shall we call it last night's card or tonight's card? I don't know. It is a easel card again, like last week's, but it is a stepped up version. I took it up a notch. Last week, I sponged the color in the background. This week I watercolored it. Last week the sentiment was stamped directly on the card, and this week I punched it out. And I also added Wink of Stella. Woohoo! Yes, Wendy, there is lots of wink on here. So that is the stepped up version. This was my sample for last night. And yes, when I had realized after I made the card that I grabbed the Starry Sky and stamped the swimsuit, but I wasn't doing it over. And this was the one that I made when I thought I was live last evening. Okay, so let's get started. We'll be using the Waves of Inspiration and the Sunny Splash stamp sets. I did change the colors a little bit from last week's card. Last week we had Starry Sky and Parakeet Party, and this week is Tahitian Tide and Island Oasis. So I have Tahitian Tide ink also, Orchid Oasis, and I have a little pool party because we will be sponging the clouds. And I have So Saffron, Pumpkin Pie, and Pool Party ink for the watercoloring. So let's get started. I have my card pack here, and the Tahitian Tide is 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm just going to score this at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. That is it for our scoring. And I'll just put this aside for now. And last week we used basic white for our sponging and stamping. This week we're using watercolor paper. So first I'm going to get the Stamparatus, and we're going to do the wave on here again. And I'm just going to angle it a little so that it's a little lower on the paper than last week because I want to get the clouds up in there. And I'm going to ink it in Tahitian Tide. And then just do a little sponging with the Orchid Oasis. Now, last week I sponged some Night of Navy on the Starry Sky, but you really couldn't see that much of a difference. But with this one this week, you really can see. So I'm just randomly putting a little bit of the Orchid Oasis around here, just so we have a little two-tone wave going on. And that looks good. So this one now you can really see the difference in the wave. And then we're going to do some watercoloring. You see, I didn't even change my grid paper from last night. Now, when you watercolor, you always want to have some paper towel handy. And I have my watercolor brush here. And I usually just drop a little bit of the ink on one of the Stampin' Blocks. So we're going to start with some So Saffron. And when you watercolor, you can put the water all over your paper first. I tend not to do that. I just pick up my ink, get a little water down there. And the more water you use, the lighter your color will be. But you can always go back and add more color. So I'm just going to bring the sun down here. And I think that looks good. I'll clean my brush off. I don't know, Harry's outside. I don't know if you could hear his little bark. He wants to come in. And then we're just going to add a little bit of the pumpkin pie up here in the top. And I don't want it to be too dark because my sample I made, you can just see is a little difference, little subtle difference in the color. But my faux live last evening, I went a little crazy with the pumpkin pie. So I don't want to do that again tonight. Because again, you can always go over it and add some more. So I got a little too much now. Bring some water out. Okay, I think that's good. Now I'm going to clean the block off because now I'm going to add the pool party. Does anybody ever watercolor? Oh, let me know in comments. I understand that July, I just recently found this out, is National Watercolor Month. So we're a little ahead of the game here. So maybe next month we'll do some more watercoloring in my Facebook Lives. I'm just going to spread it around. Doesn't matter how it comes out because it's a sky, right? Doesn't have to be all one color. A little bit in there. Let's see. I'm just going to add a little bit more in here. Just make it a little bit darker. Now you can also watercolor on shimmery white paper. You cannot do it on the basic white. The paper's too smooth and it doesn't absorb the water. So that is it for our watercoloring. Now I'm going to put this off to the side and let it dry. And as you can see, the paper does curl when you watercolor. You can put something over it to flatten it as it dries. Also, you could take your heat gun on a low setting and just dry the front and then dry the back, and that helps with the curling of the paper. So I'm just going to put it over here and just, yeah, it looks like it's going to dry flat. I was going to put something on it, but I think it'll be okay. So now in the meantime, while we're waiting for that, we will do our swimsuit and our clouds. I have thick basic white here, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment. Hello, sunshine. Same sentiment as last week because I just think that's so appropriate with the card. And I have the cloud punch. Just punch out our cloud here. And then what I did was I just punched out a partial cloud just so I could layer it behind this one. And I did a little sponging on the clouds. Gives it a little definition. So I took the blending brush and the Pool Party ink, and I just went all around the edges of the cloud. And just something so simple as this really makes a difference in the look. It's just going around the edges of it. And then I'm going to do it on this piece that I'm going to put on behind it as well. Okay. And now I adhered these two clouds together with glue dots, just so that there was a little bit of dimension between them, so it wasn't just flat. So just angle it a little so it fits behind it, and we're going to add the glue dots. And then it will eventually be popped up with dimensionals on the card. Glue dots sticking all over me here. Okay. And then just line it up so that it overlaps. There, that looks good. And I'll just leave that aside for right now. Next, we're going to stamp the swimsuit. So I need Orchid Oasis for that. And then I'll have to fussy cut this again. Really wish there was a punch for this set. Okay. And I'll just quickly cut this out. Where's my scissors? Up underneath there. You know, funny thing, last night with, I thought I was live, went completely without a hitch. No hiccups, I didn't forget to cut anything, I had everything handy. So I hope tonight we continue going as smoothly as last night. So let me know in your comments if you have made an easel card since last week's Facebook Live. I'd love to know. And if you have, of course, I'd like for you to send me a picture. Okay, so we have our swimsuit ready and our clouds. So now we will start the card assembly. Now this piece gets glued on here to the front, but you only put the adhesive on this part, and that's what's going to create the folds for making the easel. And I probably need a new glue, and I was smart, and I did put one out. So just line this up so the edges all around meet. And make sure it's straight. Okay. And then that will make the easel part. And then we will layer it with a piece of the Orchid Oasis. And then next we will add, if it has dried thoroughly, our watercolored front. So let's check this. I think we'll let it dry a minute or two longer, so let's work on the inside of the card. Now what I did this week, you can see I added a little bit of wave on this layering piece. So let's stamp that. That is this piece here. It's just a few little extras to step the card up. And we're going to use Orchid Oasis. And let me just see, that will cover it. Yes. And since I had stamped using the Tahitian Tide earlier, I didn't bother cleaning the stamp off. Okay, very nice. And now we'll add a little bit of Wink of Stella. Really makes such a big difference. And I just kind of, there's like a lot of, I don't know, dots on the wave here. So I kind of just dotted this around where the dots are. And then I just colored in where there was actual stamping for the wave. There's some more dots. So anyone that has used Wink of Stella knows how awesome this little product is. If you have not used it yet, it is a great $8 investment, and it lasts so long, and it just adds this beautiful little touch to your card. And it's alcohol based, so it dries instantly. You don't have to wait for any drying time, which is really nice. Okay, so now we'll add this inside the card. And this is the start of our piece that holds the easel open. So just add that in so we have a nice little border around it. And then we will start layering our sentiment. And we'll stamp this piece here. And I think I stamped it in, yes I did, Tahitian Tide. Perfect. So has anyone gotten either of these stamp sets yet? So fun to combine them. I also want to combine the palm set as well. That'll be fun also. I did make my, I believe it was either April or May, thank you cards combining the two. Now this here will now get adhered with dimensionals. I'm just going to cut some of these long end pieces and use, and then we'll fill in on the inside with the regular round ones. Gotta love using dimensionals, right? And yes, I'm probably going to use more than some of you do, but it's just what I do. After last night's failed video attempt, I had dimensional backings all over the place. I don't know, they just didn't make it into my little trash bin somehow last night. Oh, let's get the backings off here. So I really had fun making this stepped up version. And just these couple of little additions really make the card a wow. And that's just going to line right up across the back of this layer here. And then now we will add our watercolored piece. I'm going to use a little bit more glue than usual because of the warping. I want to make sure that this does stay flat. You could also use tear and tape. That would be good as well. And I've gotten used to this wiggle room. And remember, you can always use your heat gun to speed up the drying. It's a little too much glue right there. Press it down. And now we can start to add our pieces to the front. So I'm going to use dimensionals on the clouds. These clouds are just so cute. And yeah, I just have to put another one there. So I don't know what happened with the video last night. I know earlier in the day I had trouble getting on my Facebook page, but I started the video, I thought everything was fine, and then found out afterwards I was not live. So I apologize again for the problem, but here we are tonight. So I should be able to make this card in my sleep now. Since it's the third time I'm making it. And we will add the swimsuit here. So cute. And now we have to wink our wave. So again, I just kind of go over these dots, which I guess are a little splash or froth from the wave. And then just go over all the stamp parts. Oh, when you see this in real, it is just so, so pretty. I'm just going to hold this a little on an angle to the light so I can see where I have missed winking. Because we don't want to miss any wink, right? Okay. Oh my goodness, this is so pretty. So, so pretty. Looks good. And we're going to add some of the iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. So first we will do the bathing suit like we did last week. I'm putting the small ones on. And I'm doing the rest of the card a little differently than I did last week. I'm going to add a large one here and a large one there. It's giving it a little more bling this week. And I'll put one over there. And then I'm going to put a medium one and a medium one. And then in here, I used small ones last week, but I am using the medium this week. Perfect. Now, two other differences from last week's card. Last week, I stamped the swimsuit on the envelope, but this week, I stamped just a portion of the wave. And yes, I did wink it. So let me clean off the stamp now. I don't want to get the Orchid Oasis mixed onto my Tahitian Tide ink. And I'm also going to flip this grid paper over because I don't want any of this ink here to transfer to the envelope. Just place this. I just want a little bit of the wave to go on the envelope. So just take this up. And did I sponge the envelope too? No, I just stamped the Tahitian Tide, but I think we'll ink it a little bit. Why not, right? Oh, so pretty. And we will just wink this baby. Oh, yes. Looks so nice. And just angling it so I can see better to make sure I've covered everything. Looks pretty. And one additional thing that I did with this week's card, I added a piece to the back. I didn't attach it on these cards, but I'll show you what I did. I stamped the partial wave, and then this here, when the card is open, this will be right there on the back, and then you can write your greeting to whomever you gift the card to. So I am not attaching these to the card, just so that whoever is the lucky winner next week will have this so they can write it and then adhere it. But I will just stamp it and get it ready for you. So I will need to clean the stamp once again. And just ink it up. And this I think I'll just ink with the Tahitian Tide. And let me just see for the placement, because I only want a little bit of it to go on this piece here. That should be good. Very nice. And yes, we will wink this as well. Why not? Okay, so pretty. Okay, my crafty friends, that is it for this week's stepped up version. So, just to recap, this one here is the original sample that I made. And open it up. And the envelope. And then this is the one that I made last evening. I have a little bit more of the orange sun going on with that one. And then here is the one that we just made now. Now this may still continue to lighten a little as it continues to dry, but I think it is so pretty. And adding that little bit of wave on the inside is just a cute little touch. Now I do have to tell you, on my original sample, I did not stamp the wave because I put the card together and then the idea came to my head, oh wow, it would be nice to have the wave on there. So the one card does not have it, but the other two do. And then all three cards will have these pieces for the back to write a sentiment. Okay, my crafty friends, so next week there will be 3 cards for our lucky winner. So make sure you leave your comments tonight. Let me know what you think about this stepped up version. Again, let me know if you've made an easel card yet since last week. If you've done any watercoloring, if watercoloring is something you want to try. Just say hi, whatever you'd like. You know I love to read your comments, and I want to make sure you get entered in the drawing for these cards next week. Okay, everyone, thank you for stopping by tonight. And for those that were looking for me last night, I apologize. I don't know what the technical difficulty was, but I can tell you I did a wonderful Facebook Live all by myself. All right, everyone, have a wonderful week. It has started raining here now, so if you're going out tonight, if you're in this area, do be careful. Stay dry. I will see some of you on Saturday for my in color card class. And I will see, hopefully, all of you back here next Wednesday. Next Wednesday is the last day to order from the current January to June mini catalog. So if there's anything that you've been looking at in there you haven't gotten yet, less than a week left now. And no, it is till next Thursday, I believe. Yes, next Thursday. And then next Friday starts the holiday, or as it's now called, July to January mini catalog, and woohoo, 2 months of celebration. So next week, our Facebook Live, I am going to be showing you a new kit that is coming out in the mini catalog. I haven't even unboxed it yet myself. It will be a live unboxing, and we'll go through that together next week. So have a wonderful crafty week, and I'll see you back here on Wednesday at 7. Thanks. Bye, everyone.